with manhole covers and sewer grates and all kinds of curbs and natural landmarks. So these, should we say that these racers will be taking it easy?
We're both racers, Jeff, and it's always a good pep talk right up until that green flag drops. We have B.S. Levy. Bert Levy is here. He's one of the honorary guests, and he's famous for, he's written over 8 books. The first one, Last Open Road, and it talks about when auto racing started in the United States.
I think we're coming up to the green flag.
We probably are. This is what it looked like. Oh, and they are gone.
They are definitely green. You can see that they are getting hot now. They are getting at it. There's our leader, number 19.
That is Johnny DeTonio, and that's a 6-1 sprite. He's also from Pittsburgh, so he is charging them folks right as they come around the conservatory. And, our comment about taking it easy, I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm contractually obligated by the lawyers to mention that this is 7/10 racing. 7/10 racing. Good luck out there, guys. Keeping it under 7/10. Just keep it off the wall, everybody.
It is 10/10 of fun. We're watching these vintage cars tear through these little street circuits right there. There's the hay bales to protect the telephone pole from the cars, as Bert mentioned earlier.
Do you want to go over the leaderboard for a moment while we got it up?
Absolutely.
All right, we're actually going to go to an interview from one of the racers, Niall McCabe from Succasunna, New Jersey. He's in the 1958 Austin A. That is one of the little cars with doors you see out there.
Yes.
We're going to throw it to Ted Shore for that interview.
One of the most unique cars, I think, that runs here at Schenley Park every year is Niall McCabe's Austin. This is Niall from Morris County, New Jersey, who has been out here a number of years. Only 50. So you are one of the legends of Schenley Park, then?
I don't think I'm quite a legend, but only in my own mind.
Now, you haven't always brought this Austin here.
Correct. I usually, in the past, I brought my MG Midget. This Austin's been here the last 3 years, though. Prior to that, my MG Midget. Okay. And I may bring the Midget back eventually. We'll see.
There it is.
Well, it's so much fun to see this car, though. This is an A35?
Correct, A35. It started out with 35 horsepower in England. And it's actually the car that the MG Midget is built from. So I raced an MG Midget for 40 years, so this was an easy transition to build this car. Very similar, a lot of shared parts.
It's not exactly an MG Midget with a different body, but close?
It's scary and tippy kind of MG Midget. So it's it's kind of fun, but it's scary and tippy and slower, and it doesn't stop as well, and sometimes kind of terrifying.
So given that,
I keep smiling.
So that's the reason then.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination of terror and fun. It's not that bad. You do get used to it after a while. But if you've ever seen the cars racing at Goodwood, A35s like this, you'll see occasionally one of them will be barrel rolling, and I don't want to be one of those guys. So I'm going to avoid that at all costs.
You're standing in front of the license plate, but it has a very interesting license plate. What is it?
It's from Antigua, and that is no connection with the car. We were just in Antigua for my daughter's wedding.
And you came home with a license plate.
I stuck it on my garage wall for a while, and when I finished this car, I thought, that looks good. So no real logic behind it. Yeah.
Niall, we're always delighted to see you in this car. We're laughing also but we're laughing with you, not at you.
Well, it's okay. The flaggers tell me that they figure when I pull over, 10 clowns are going to jump out of it, and only one does.
It's Niall McCabe's A35 Austin.
Thanks.
A lot of clouds. If you are watching this right now on YouTube, hey, just do us a quick favor. Just click on down, right down to the subscribe. I promise you they're not going to fill your inbox with spam. It's going to be more great content like you're seeing right here. Go ahead and get a subscription to YouTube. Watching this right now. Help us make more of this great content that you're seeing.
Absolutely. We are live on every different platform right there. So you can also go to pvgp.org and see all the information about all the racers, like that wonderful Austin 35.
Mm-hmm. Now, while we were away, we did get a leader change. So right now we've got Andrew Moore is in the lead, and that's in a 64 Healy Sprite, another local. So lots of Pittsburgh folks battling it out for, I imagine, some good bragging rights.
And then after that, we have number 19, Justin D'Antonio. in a 1.6 liter. I believe that is also in Austin.
It is, yeah. He was just in the lead, so those two have been going at it, and a lot of respect there. In third, we've got Josh Hartman, and he's in a 64 Spitfire, another Pittsburgh relative. This is just a fantastic racing town.
Absolutely.
Loving every bit of this.
Yeah, after that we have an MGA, we have some of the production racers, a TD, some great looking cars out there, just absolutely hucking it around this course in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. It's 7/10 racing, but it's 10/10 fun, and everyone is really enjoying it. And this is what these cars were honestly just designed to do. Small bore, excellent handling. It really comes down to the drivers in these situations. There goes our 3 leaders in a row, and they are not giving any quarter. This is going to be interesting right up until the end. Coming into that corner at turn 9, right in front of that Westinghouse fountain. He is trying to accelerate away, but I don't think Hartman or Hartman is given either of those guys. Okay, here we go. Shot of our leader again. Coming into turn 13, very tight. And they begin the climb up that slight hill.
Yeah, do you think Andrew Moore takes his car to the park and when their race isn't going on and practices? He is from Pittsburgh, so
all 3 of the leaders are from Pittsburgh. I think it shows. They
some local knowledge coming out here.
Absolutely. They get on their bicycles or they bring their dogs out and walk them around so they can pay attention.
Well, honestly, there is a lot of value in actually walking the course.
There is.
There's a lot of pavement changes. Being a road course, lots of pavement changes and crowned roads, and where a washout might have happened, or where some, over winter, the track surface can change. So even just getting out on the track and walking around is valuable information when you're pushing your very expensive, sometimes not so expensive.
Very
machine.
loved.
Yeah.
Certainly
very
is loved.
absolutely loved. There's one thing about these vintage racers is it may not be $1 million sports car, but it is a loved sports car.
Yes. And we had a chance to do a track walk ourselves on Friday, and it is interesting that this not being a full-time racing surface, you talked about the crown of the road. And that does play a factor in some of the lines, because these roads are designed for runoff to make sure that when it snows or rains, the water gets into these drains, and it does affect especially some of these smaller cars. As you mentioned, they've got just a little bit of horsepower, so they're trying to maximize every inch they have. This is one of our fantastic drone shots, looking down on the racers as they're coming through that corner right there. There's a fantastic looking Lotus 7 just coming through the hill, and there's our Mini, an actual Mini coming around there. And just the other day, we were at this corner, and some of the more smart racers tied our robe in there. But we're gonna cut away for a commercial, recognize some of the valuable sponsors that make everything you are seeing here possible, and we want to thank our friends over at Cut and Run Productions for bringing this all to you.
And our sponsor, Pit Race, for this segment. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Get ready for the ultimate adrenaline rush with the VIP Pit Race Track Experience. Discover 2 thrilling hours of driving action, featuring lead follow laps on the North Track and a full track hot lap finale. Feel the power beneath you as you race in our top-of-the-line fleet of BMWs. Perfect for both car enthusiasts and newcomers to the sport. Treat yourself to unparalleled customer service and attention to detail, ensuring your time on the track is an unforgettable adventure. Don't wait any longer. Sign up today and experience the exhilaration of the VIP Pit Race Track Experience. Let's hit the track and make some memories.
Everyone has different storage needs, so Guardian Storage offers a variety of solutions. We have climate-controlled and drive-up units. Units that are perfect for homeowners, renters, students, and businesses. We also cover other needs with conference rooms, coffee service, free Wi-Fi, package acceptance, on-site store with packaging and moving supplies. With Guardian Storage, you truly get more when you store.
monitors stay up. And we're back.
Okay, there we are. We're still looking at that overhead drone shot. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Pit Race. Don't sleep on that VIP experience. That's a lot of fun. One of those hot BMWs coming through. Andrew Moore still in the lead here. He's just in front of Josh Hartman, and Justin D'Antonio's now in third, but those three Pittsburgh natives in their MG and their Austin Sprites are battling it out, and they are still running rather close.
I know between races we're going to go see Chris Abbott, Chrissy Matura, and the voice of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, Ted Sawyer, for interviews with not only the racers but some of the people who are just watching in the park, because Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix is a beautiful spectator event. If you're watching here on YouTube or on the PVGP.org, if you're in the Pittsburgh area, you can come down and watch the races today. We are going to be racing until about 4:30 in the afternoon.
What a fantastic time. It's centrally located. It's great. It's a wonderful facility. And you're just not going to see this anywhere else. They don't do this anywhere else in the country. I do a lot of vintage stuff on the West Coast, and we don't have anything like this. This is just such a great, unique experience. And speaking of great and unique, it looks like Andrew Moore is starting to put a little bit of distance between him and Josh Hartman in that Spitfire.
Yeah, it looks like he's catching up to some lapped opponents also. It is a 2.33 mile track, so catching up to some of the back markers is actually a pretty big deal.
Especially with 22 separate turns on this one. Now, the lap record of this course is 2 minutes and 14 seconds. I don't think we're going to see that one broken here today, but darn if these racers aren't going to try.
Well, definitely not from the vintage small board under one. Yes.
Might have to impound them and check them for some rule violations if they start running that fast.
Yep.
Somebody
get the SCCA inspectors out here to measure the valves on this guy.
All right, Andrew's gotten through that traffic, and he has left his two competitors still tangling without a blit. Now, this is, as we mentioned, vintage racing, so you're not going to see a lot of holdups, but sometimes it's just not a good time to signal for a pass, and you have to be patient waiting through these corners.
Well, and some of these, even though these are very small cars, some of these roads are very tight and very small. So when we're going over things like the Panther Hollow Bridge and past the conservatory, looking over at the University of Pittsburgh Cathedral of Learning, big, wide, highway-like street, but some of these are paths through a park.
Yes, right here as they're going through those switchbacks, the 18, 19, and 19A complexes. They're tightening up through here. Here we come back through the conservatory. There's our race leader, and he is starting his other lap right through this gorgeous Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. Schenley Park. I'd like to welcome everybody who's watching us right now. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. And while you're there, hey, why not text us, messages, tweet it to some of your friends. You've got friends, they probably like cars, they'd probably really enjoy this. This is a great production. Oh, now this is a gorgeous little MG coming through here.
Yeah, make sure you hashtag those tweets, hashtag PVGP, so everyone can see it. Some beautiful cars here. Andrew is still pushing it. Got a little loose there.
There we go. Now we're having some fun.
I'm again contractually obligated to remind Andrew we are 7/10 racing here. Please do not put that beautiful 64 Austin Healey Sprite into any danger.
All right, but he is being...
He's got a good lead on number 2
I'm not
there.
convinced. I think the 27, Josh Hartman, is starting to run him down. He's got that 64 Spitfire, and hot on the tail is the one who actually started out in the lead on this one. And yeah, the silver Austin Sprite on this one. So that's our 1, 2, and 3. They've been going there. That's Justin D'Antonio, and he is staying on the tail of Josh Hartman in that Spitfire.
It's a Sprite, number 19. Austin
No.
Sprite.
The second place, Josh Hartman.
Oh, got it. Thank you, sir.
All right, there's our leader again. Oh, listen to that car just climb through those RPMs.
Yep. You can see on your screen there that hay bale that is pushed onto the road site. Somebody got a little close to one of the sewer grates and must have pushed that onto the track surface during the. You can see the hay bale right there. That is a storm drain, making sure that they don't break their beautiful cars.
Oh, because that will
some of the dangers.
Yeah, that'll destroy the wheel on a street car, much less on a race car.
I love the Mini. This red and white Mini.
I believe that is
beautiful.
Alex Schaefer, and he's from Cannonsburg. There we go. Now 21. That's Josh Stanford.
65 Tuner Mark III. Turner Mark III. We're not sure what that is. I know it's got a 1.6 liter motor according to my records here, but a lot of these 1600 cc motors are on the Austin Healey or the MG motor.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and we just saw with that interview with the car that this was based on. A lot of evolution going on with some of these vehicles. But Andrew Moore still got that lead. Josh Harmon is just about 4 seconds behind him.
Yellow and white Bug-Eye Sprite is gorgeous.
Yes, he is.
Did he just pull off the
I
racing
believe
surface?
he may be having an issue, not wanting to risk that car. So we've got there's our leader, Andrew Moore. Here comes Josh Hartman, and right behind him, Justin D'Antonio.
Was that possible that was the Craig Seifert, who was in second place before? We have 2 yellow Austin Healeys here. The Bug-Eyed Sprites, we have number 59 Craig Seifert and number 66 Abigail Patterson. We're not sure who just pulled off right there. We'll try and confirm for you who's having trouble. Craig Seifert looks like he is still on the leaderboard, so we're not sure who it was.
Okay. And another shot right there, turn 13.
I think we're going to go back down to the field for a pre-recorded interview, this time with Alan Patterson. Alan Patterson has a pretty interesting car here. It's a 1959 1934 Lagonda Rapier. So this is a coach-built, 110 horsepower, very light, handled well. Was a very popular racer in the hill climbs and the sprints back in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s, or excuse me, the 30s. Whew. But it's a beautiful car, and we believe he is not on the track at the moment, but Ted Sawyer did get a chance to interview him earlier in the weekend.
All right, it looks like Andrew Moore has put a couple more seconds on Josh Hartman in that Spitfire. So we're going to pop out to that interview, but stay with us because it's still going to stay on the screen. You can still listen to this great interview.
I'm here with a gentleman who has an historic name here and a historic family connection to the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. This is Alan Patterson III.
Thanks for being here as always, Ted. It's funny you say that. I'm very lucky to be able to continue this tradition on behalf of the Pattersons. And there's 5 of us, my daughter being the newest of our drivers this year. But again, what a fabulous event, 41 years and going strong. It's fantastic.
I mentioned that, and if you're not familiar with the history of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, it goes back to 1983. And Alan Patterson, your dad, and meetings early on in his garage and in nearby Shadyside to put the whole thing together, and it, I think, never would have happened without Alan Patterson.
It would not have happened, but it would not have happened without the help of a tremendous amount of people. And obviously, to this day, it wouldn't be possible without all the volunteers and all the people who are involved, such as yourself. But yes, again, very lucky to be.
So the Patterson family has run a variety of cars through the years, but you're leaning against a really cool car.
Yes, so this is a 1934 Lagonda Rapier, and it was the oldest car that my dad owned. And he mostly had it in California and raced it in California. And if you look at the stickers on the side, he raced it at various events in California, but always wanted to bring it back here. Sadly, he passed before it came back here, and then it took me a year during the pandemic to sort it. It needed a lot of work, and then last year brought it out, or 2 years ago, brought it out for the inaugural run at the PVGP. And it's a fascinating car to drive.
It's very cool, and I'm happy to hear that I wasn't just not seeing it through the years, that it actually was living on the West Coast. But did your dad have a car overseas as well?
Well, he had 2 cars that ended up overseas over the course of the year. So the Elva that he bought new in 1958, the Formula Junior, ended up traveling around Europe, and he went to various races in that. And then his favorite car, the Allard, which he bought new in 52 and was his daily driver from Pittsburgh to Miami, ended up in Europe also on occasion and went racing over there.
I'm glad you mentioned the Allard and the fact that he bought it new. He was a life member of the Sports Car Club of America. I think the only man I know who was a lifetime member.
He was a lifetime member. He actually was one of the founding members, I believe, of the Steel Cities Region, SCCA. So, yeah, he was there from the beginning, and I believe the VSCCA.
Now, you mentioned that your daughter Abigail is racing the Bug-Eye Sprite that we're standing next to.
Correct. The Bug-Eye Sprite behind us, exactly. She started driving last year, going through various events to get licensed, and she's been driving that, and we'll be driving that in this year's event here.
Carry on the Patterson tradition.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We'll look for you on course.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here as always. I'll look forward to hearing your voice over the loudspeakers.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Ted.
All right, and welcome back. We are still running this 1.5 liter production cars. We're just outside of turn 15 as they're coming down towards the East Circuit Road. There's our drone shot. All of this being brought to you by Cut and Run Productions. I believe that is our third place car that is just starting to come down into those switchbacks. Very bit tight of racing, very pretty. So that is Andrew Moore and Josh Hartman, and they are just 3 seconds apart, and that's between second and third. And I believe that our leader has just put some serious time on everybody by running away with this one. This is another great shot, turn 20, that's right before you come across the start-finish line. Just out of those S's. Looks like we may have a slight strategic repositioning of one of those hay bales over a grate. Just an adjustment as we call it. But right now, Andrew Moore has got a 10-second lead over the second place car of Josh Hartman in that Spitfire. That is really, really impressive, especially on these tight circuits. And there he is right there, cresting the hill, coming on around the start finish and heading back around for another lap. Just a few more minutes of racing. While you're here watching us, if you've been to the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix website, pvgp.org, you've got an opportunity there to donate to Autism Pittsburgh, and it's a wonderful charity that does a lot of great things right here in the Steel City. What a great group of folks that are doing that, and they have had a lifetime involvement with this organization and this race. So very happy to promote that. Autism Pittsburgh. There we go. We saw the little mini as he's climbing up the hill. Just saw a Lotus 7 come around, and there's our race leader just in front of the conservatory, and he is headed up towards the Westinghouse statue. Oh, and there we are. Right on him is Josh Hartman.
Yeah, I just want to take another moment and talk about Autism Pittsburgh, because they are very much
Festival. It really truly is a festival.
Sorry, that was me. I was talking and mental wasn't hearing me. I just want to take a moment and acknowledge that our charity partner, Autism Pittsburgh, is one of the many charities of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix charities, and they are helping us, they are getting the benefits of all the work that put together by all the volunteers and everything.
The 18 car clubs that were here for the show yesterday. It's fantastic. Oh, there's our leader catching up on some of that traffic. He's going around
traffic,
there.
yep.
And Josh Hartman is not letting go anywhere, has now reduced that lead back to 8 seconds as they start to negotiate some of the traffic. And this is really where racecraft comes into play. You have to understand and trust the racer in front of you and then try and predict as much as possible what they're going to do. A lot of new racers like to make the mistake of trying to get out of the way, and that's one of the worst things you can do. If you are being overtaken, you want to be predictable, but we are looking down into the switchbacks, 18, 19, as they're coming through there. There's our leader starting to put it on there, but Josh Hartman is not giving up, and Justin is just behind them as well. So it is Spitfire versus Sprite as we're coming down to the last couple of laps of the opening race here at this Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. This is our production 1.5 liter event.
Let me remind everybody, we are going to be live covering these races all day. Yes, we do have some sponsors, because how else are the charities going to make any money if no one is paying us? Well, actually, no one is paying us. We're all volunteers. But when we go to commercial, the racing is going to stay live, so don't tune away. Stay together. Once we come back, we'll review everything that's going on, hitting the top 10s, and probably interviewing the winners.
Absolutely. We're going to even have some live interviews trackside with some of the fans that are here today. So stay with us. Keep an eye on these commercials. Thanks so much.
And we're back.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much. It looks like they have thrown the checkered flag in our starting race of the day. And it is Andrew Moore that has taken that one over Josh Hartman, Justin DeTonio right there in the back. We also had James Goodson, Peter McCarthy, Alan Patterson, Kurt Burns, Steve Coatson, and Thomas Dick. Manley Ford rounding out that top 10. those throughs go through there. And we were just noticing Andrew Moore's best time, 2:17 in a 1.5 liter MG, just 3 seconds off that track record. That is really, really impressive for a lot of clean racing.
Yeah, these are not the fastest cars that we're going to see today. We have some big bore cars. We have the 100 years of MG race that's coming up. We have some fantastic
of course, yeah,
Formula cars that are going to be much faster than this.
And of course,
group.
I'm eagerly looking forward to the Porsches as they come out, because I am slightly biased. I'm a Porsche enthusiast. This is just going to be a great time. So here we are looking at the leaderboard. Andrew Moore in that 64 Austin Healey Sprite. What a great car.
All right, so here's how a racer is a racer. That best lap was actually the last lap, 2:17.889. Andrew Moore, we know you were pushing it real hard out there, and good job.
Very well done. But Josh Hartman, hold your head high, because you were really, really tracking. You running down that lead. That was a 2:21 was your best lap, and that was darn close to the end of the race as well. And Justin D'Antonio started out in the lead, did a really, really good job. But sometimes that's just how racing goes.
This is the trophy right here.
Oh, can we hear Ted now?
I believe we can, and there we go. They're getting those trophies, those outstanding cases of beer from your local Helltown Brewery. There we go. That's a proud podium.